It's just men in the. We received a lot of interest from different people who wanted to join, different people who wanted to participate in the meeting, but due to limitations in space, limitations in the time allocated as well, and also that it's a restricted meeting specifically designed for men, we decided to have it today. Then the next parts will come as time goes. So, just a brief introduction of what this is all about. So, the Alpha Purpose, I think that was the name of the meeting. Alpha Purpose online workshop, Men's Money Matters. This is a program, it's a mentorship program designed by the Alpha Purpose group. So this group is under the Teresa Hart Foundation. Teresa Hart Foundation is an NGO registered in Zambia that caters for skills development, leadership training. They have quite a number of programs which they have been running for the past months, close to a year, which have been targeted mostly at women. And the cry has been that there should also be a branch or an arm that specifically deals with issues to do with men. So, as a result of that cry, that demand, the Alpha Purpose Group was formed. And this group is specially designed to be some sort of safe space for us guys just to come and chat, come and discuss issues, and talk about things that affect all of us, and find solutions together, find ways in which we can better our lives. So that's the brief background of it, and we just want to especially thank the Teresa Hart Foundation for the platform, for extending the invitation to all of us, and for creating it. So, with that said, I'm also going to give a disclaimer that I know that some people in here, looking at the backgrounds, looking at the profiles that were shared, the brief descriptions, I know that many will have more experience or more expertise than me in certain fields and certain areas. So don't expect me to know everything. We're here to learn from one another, but I'll basically guide today's session. And already we had, like I said, we had interest from different groups. We had interest from the people who are doing business. We had interest from those who are career based. We had interest from students, those who are yet to get into any sort of formal employment or start to do any business. So there were broad aspects of all of this. And looking at the response, I think this will have to be a series. We'll have to start today, next week, probably invite, or not next week, the next session, maybe invite someone who is into business. The other session, based on the demand, get someone who is career based and just give you guys some sort of in depth or hand holding expertise and mentorship. So, getting into our topic today, we are dealing with men's money matters. This is a common topic which is not broadly discussed, it's not openly discussed. Maybe because of the society we're in, maybe because of the communities we're raised in, the type of environment, or maybe there were not enough people who were skilled or knowledgeable in this field. So you find that money talk is usually shied away from. People tend to shy away from the topic of money, they would rather talk about any other thing, but yet every day they wake up, they're chasing after some sort of income, they're looking for a job, they're looking for a business that they can do. So it's something that we have to address, it's something that we have to learn together. And this is basically what we're going to start doing starting from today's session. So I'm going to share, I have written down 4 points. 4 points of our discussion today. These are just broad areas of discussion that will guide us. And then following this meeting, after these 4 points are done, I'm going to answer some of the questions that were sent in the chat. As you are registering, there was a part which asked about some questions that you'd like to address and some topics that you'd like to discuss at a later stage. So following these 4 discussion topics we're going to look at today, we're going to answer some of those questions. Some of them, they'll go back into the audience, and one of us in the call who I believe can answer it will be called on set to help me to address these issues so we can help our brother out there. So yeah, before we get into these 4, give you a brief description or introduction of who I am, what I do. My name is John Kambole. I'm currently in Zambia. I am a senior analyst working for the government of the Republic of Zambia under the Ministry of Finance, and I work for one of the regulators of the financial services. So that is basically me. I'm a senior analyst at the Ministry of Finance. My day-to-day job involves analyzing financial data, analyzing trends, analyzing patterns, and also supervising financial service providers such as banks, the mobile monies, and insurance, microfin, all those which are financial service providers. I have a role in supervising them. So with that brief background, you can tell that already I deal with a lot of numbers, I deal with a lot of figures, finances, definitely money, and also in my personal life, I'm married, have one wife, which is very important. One wife, no kids. I have a master's in business admin. I'm a certified anti-money laundering specialist of CAMS. I have a bachelor's degree in applied statistics. So you can see that I have quite a bit of knowledge on the subject that we're going to deal with today. So back to our 4 points and our main subject, which is money matters. The first point is the definition of money. What is money? What is money? What is all this thing that we are chasing after every day? What is all this thing that has preoccupied our minds? What is it? Is it some form of animal? Is it some character? Is it fictional? Is it real? What exactly is money? And I wrote this, that money is not about numbers. It is about responsibility, identity, and legacy. So money alone is not just about the numbers. It's not about 100 or 200 or 5, 10, 20. It's more than numbers. It's about responsibility. It's about identity. It's also about your legacy. The common definition of money, which is widely accepted all around the world, or anyone who wants to talk about money, will usually say that money is a medium of exchange. Money is a measure of economic value, or money is a means of payment. So it's a means of exchange in the sense that you use money to get what you want that you didn't have. You use it as a medium of exchange. For example, you want to buy food, you get some money, which is value, and you exchange that value for the piece of food that you want, or the plate, or the meal that you want to have. So that's the medium of exchange. It's also a measure of economic value. So when you want to determine how worth the product is, how much of it it's worth, you want to determine how much you should spend on it, you use money to calculate the value of that item. So money is that economic measure that gives economic value to something. And lastly, I said money is a means of payment. So back to our example of food, when you want to get that food, you have to pay. You use money to pay for that. And these are commonly accepted definitions or commonly used definitions of money. But money, in a general sense, is simply a tool that we use to get the future that we want. So money is the tool that we use to get the future that we want. So the amount of money today, or the money you have currently, should be used to create or to build the future that you want. The amount of money you have today, maybe it's a lot, maybe it's a little, but whatever amount it is should be used to build the type of future that you want. That is my definition of money. It's simply a tool. We use it to get what we want in the future. If I want to have maybe to build a house in 5 or 10 years time, I need to use the money that I'm making today in order to land into that house or that dream career or business that I want to have in the next 5 or 10 years. So whatever the quantity is today, my goal is I'm looking in the future and I'm using what I have, the current money that I have in on my pocket or in my bank. I'm using that as a tool to get the future that I'm looking for. That is the first point as the definition of money that I just wrote down for you. So once you understand that money is intended to be used for the future, you get to understand that everything you are doing today with the amount of money you have is leading you into a future that you desired or that you're creating. So I'm right here today. I gave you my background. I have a master's and a bachelor's. All those things we used money to get those qualifications or those certifications. We paid to the school institution to get the knowledge, and that knowledge is what we're using now today to live our lives and to build the futures that we want. So the money that was paid as school fees or tuition fees, that was all that was used. That was the tool that was used to get me to the path where I am today. So I can be able to calculate maybe how much was spent on my education from the time that I started primary, high school, university, till today, how much has been spent, and this is what we're going to quantify as the amount of money that was used towards my academics in order for me to be knowledgeable in this field, in order for me to be able to share and to utilize it to get the desired results. So using that analogy, you can use it for everything that has been spent in the past to get you to where you are today. The transportation you've been using, you've been paying for that. You've been using money to get from point A to point B. Money has just been a tool that has been passing through your hands from one point to another to get you from point A to point B, from one city to another city, one country to another country. You had to pay for that. You had to use money for that. So simply put, money is the tool that we use in order to get the future that we desire. That's point number one, the definition of money. Secondly, the second point is that money, like we said, is not just about numbers. It's about responsibility, identity, and legacy. The second point we're going to talk about is responsibility and discipline with money. Responsibility and discipline with money. The book of Proverbs, chapter 21, verse 20, from the Living Bible. Allow me to use that version today. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 20, from the TLB Bible. Okay, it reads, "The wise man saves for the future, but the foolish man spends whatever he gets." So the wise man saves for the future, but the foolish man spends whatever he gets. I'm going to paste that scripture in the chat so you can all keep it and have a look at it as you reflect on these words. The wise man saves for the future, but the foolish man spends whatever he gets. This is in line with responsibility and discipline. Clearly put, a wise man is going to save for the future. He's going to save for a rainy day. He's going to save for anything that is coming his way. But a foolish man, if he has 100 today, that 100 is going to finish before the day ends. If he has 1,000 today, that 1,000 is going to end before sunset. If he has 10,000, it doesn't matter how much he has. It's about his mind, it's about his mentality. If he is wise, he's going to keep a portion for the future. If he is foolish, he's going to use everything in one go. So, out of every amount you earn or every amount you receive, always have a portion left over for future use. This is basic common sense of money. Out of every portion that you're going to make, every portion of money that you're going to have, always save a portion of it for future use. We use kwacha because majority of the people today are from Zambia. So if you have 100 kwacha today, or you earn or you receive 100 kwacha, at least keep 30 or 40. If you're not going to use it, at least keep 50 for future use. That is the beginning of discipline, and that's the beginning of responsibility. And as this verse has put it, that's the characteristic of a wise man. And most of us in here, just by the fact that we have registered and signed up, has put it into place that we are trying to be wise with our finances, we're trying to be wise with all our resources. So we have to be prudent, we have to be responsible, and we have to be disciplined. Whatever you're going to get, whatever you're going to earn, whatever you're going to receive, maybe as a gift, as a token, always have a portion that you're going to keep for the future. I saw a lot of questions about savings and emergencies, and this is the money that you're going to use for those emergencies. When you have 100 today and you keep 50, tomorrow you're not starting from zero, you're starting from 50. If you receive another 100, you have 150. You save a 50, you're going to have 100 by the end of the day. So this keeps on compounding more and more and more. So a little every day comes up to, I read this somewhere, a little every day comes up to 1,000 on a rainy day. So if you keep on adding a little bit of whatever quantity you're going to receive, the day that you face a challenge, the day that you have a problem, at least you have somewhere where to start from before you can run out and borrow some funds. At least you already have something in your pocket. So the wise man, you and me, have to save for the future. We have to keep a portion of what we receive or what we earn for future use. It may be not only for an emergency, it may be for an investment. Maybe you have a project you want to complete, you have a task that is going to be resource demanding. You take a portion of those savings and you use them for that future that you intend to build or that you want to have. Great. Let's go. So a little every day becomes 1,000 on a rainy day. And responsibility and discipline is going to be tested at every moment when you have cash. Every moment that you have money in your pocket is like, I don't know, last time I was joking with a colleague and I said, every time I get paid, it's like all the problems in the world will wake up and they'll say, oh, let's trouble him now. So that is the moment when your discipline is going to be tested. Everything you've ever wanted to eat, which was so nice, the nicest food, the nicest gadgets, the nicest cars, they only pop up in your eyes when you start having money. And now you need discipline, you need to have a responsible life in order so that you can be able to tame yourself and prioritize all your goals, prioritize all your plans, and prioritize your spending. So I wrote down 3 responsible ways in which you can spend your money. 3 responsible ways and also 3 irresponsible ways. So the first 3 responsible ways, number 1 is your shelter. Your shelter. So you use your money for your shelter. This includes things like rent, food, security, everything that you need, just in order for you to be safe and secure. That is your shelter. The second one is for your education. Your education means using your money to acquire knowledge or skills that will be used to generate more income for you at a later stage. So you can use your money to learn a skill. I used my money to learn how to do some photography. I used my money to learn how to do some basic coding in those days, computer programming. I used my money as well to learn how to speak a certain language. So I used my money to further my skills, to further my knowledge, in order for me to be able to generate some money in the future using those skills. I didn't generate much from them, but at least I'll show you an extract of what I did with some of the skills that I learned. I have an Excel which I'm going to share. And then lastly, the third responsible way of spending your money is spending your money on investments. Investments here includes things like assets, maybe properties, land, which are going to be used either for your own personal development or they're going to be used to generate money for you. So investments can also be in things like movable assets like vehicles. If that car is going to be generating money for you, that's an investment. If that car is going to be stealing money from you through service expenses, fuel, all those things are going to eat you up, and that is going to be an irresponsible way of spending money. So the three responsible ways that I shared is number one for shelter, number two for your education, number three for investing. And now the three irresponsible ways. This one, gentlemen, we have to talk. The first irresponsible way of spending your money is gambling. Gambling, betting, yes, gambling and betting. That is the first irresponsible way of spending your money. You cannot use all your hard earned money betting on luck or betting on chances, on probability, or in a casino, because those are not ways of multiplying your money. Those are ways of losing your money and getting addicted. It is a vice, and it is very hard to let go once you begin. So, betting always works in a way that they dangle the option of winning until you get enticed. Once you get enticed, you are addicted, and now you find yourself borrowing money every day just to fulfill that passion of betting or gambling. And you find that, interestingly, you may never win, but you keep on playing and keep on playing and keep on playing until eventually you lose all your money. So, the first irresponsible way is gambling and betting. Secondly, drugs, excessive partying, alcohol. These are things which are affecting us in our world today as young people. Drugs, alcohol, excessive partying. All those things are irresponsible ways of spending your money. We are not saying don't go and have fun 1 or 2 days, but excessively and to the point that you need to borrow money in order to attend some of these social events is killing you slowly, and it is killing you deeply. You get to a point where you are so addicted to this type of life and you are not able to fulfill the other things which are important with your money or your resources. So you find yourself living in a world that is fake, that is fictitious, always trying to catch up with other people and always trying to live up to your friends' expectations. So that is an irresponsible way of using your money. Using your money on drugs, alcohol, and excessive partying. Those are not profitable for you. And lastly, the third irresponsible way of spending your money. This one, I wrote it and we have to say it the way it is. The third irresponsible way of spending your money is on unnecessary relationships or womanizing or having lots of girlfriends or having lots of partners. This is one of the deadliest and one of the quickest ways to finish yourself as a young man. This is unnecessary relationships, unnecessary girlfriends. I did mention earlier that I'm married and I only have one wife, and this is going to save me for the rest of my life because it helps me to streamline my resources into one channel and one direction only. The moment you begin to have multiple partners, multiple relationships, you find yourself losing money each and every minute because needs are always arising. And for you to keep that relationship alive, you have to keep spending money maybe on dates, on dinners, on you name it, but multiple unnecessary relationships. Womanizing and is an irresponsible way of spending your money. So if you're going to be responsible and you're going to be disciplined, you're going to stay away from these irresponsible ways of spending money. Gambling, excessive partying, drugs, alcohol, and women, unnecessary relationships. You're going to stay away from those things. And that is what is going to help you to be more disciplined with your financial life. You'll be able to track it. You'll be able to keep track of what is coming in and what is going out. And also, in order for you to be more disciplined and more responsible and accountable, you should have a budget or an accounting mechanism, a way that you keep track of what is coming in and what is going out. This will help you. This will help you to track your expenses and also to project your financial position, your incomes, every money that is coming in. Once you have a budget, you have a way that you have systematically put things in place, you are able to easily control and manage what is coming in. You're able also to track maybe how much you spent on a particular item in the previous maybe month or two or even a whole year. So I'm going to show you an Excel, which is just an extract of something that I do with my finances. Let me just show you a piece of this budget that I usually make just to account for all my expenditure and all my incomes. So just hold on for a minute. Let me just display my screen. Okay, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can.
All right, I'm just trying to display my screen just to show you the budget template, but it looks like the internet is a bit slow. So as we are waiting for that, just keep on thinking of your questions that we're going to discuss at the end of this. All right, great. Can you see the Excel on the screen?
Yes.
All right, good. So this is an extract of my 3-month budget. Don't mind the figures so much. I have sanitized them a little bit, but it is not far from the reality. So I said have a budget to keep track of your income to be able to track what is coming in, to be able to track also what is going out. So we have, for example, this is for someone who is employed. He has a salary, maybe he has allowances, and he has a little small extra income that he makes. So you find that in month one, his total income was about 14,000 kwacha, which is quite fair. Then his expenses at the end of that month was 12,100, which leaves him with a balance of 1,800 kwacha. This is someone who is a bit disciplined with his money, because I've seen that, firstly, the expenses are lined up. There's tithe, definitely is a believer. Offerings, he has a line for plots. In short, he's trying to buy land, so maybe he's paying in installments. He has savings, internet and airtime, food, utilities, electricity, fuel, the car, and gifts, maybe, which he gives out. So you find that everything is well tracked and maintained. If this person was trying to streamline or plan his finances better, it would be easier for him, who has a record like this, to be able to know where he's spending most of his money, and also where he's earning a lot of money. Is it from his salary? Is it from extra income, maybe as a business? Is it from allowances? That way you're able to track, and you're able to tell yourself how hard you need to work in a particular place, or how much more effort you need to spend maybe on your job, how much more you need to spend in your business. You're able to tell, and you're able to track. So this is an example of a simple Excel template which just shows you the incomes, the expenses, and your balance at the end of the month, which is able to help you at least just to keep track. It may not be entirely accurate to the nearest decimal, but at least it gives you an idea of how much you are spending at a particular time. Then I also did a template of a certain business I was doing. This was some sort of consultancy where we were buying items for businessmen and charging them a fee. So the amount which is showing there as total amount is how much the businessman was paying for his goods, and the column E, which is showing the fee, is how much I was paid. So at the first month, I was paid like 2,200, which is extra income for me because I'm already working. The second month, again, depending on the amount of sales, I was paid again 1,800. This is a small business that was just basically doing supplying and procurement for some small businesses around town. And once they make an order, you charge them as a commission. You charge them a certain amount, and they give you that as a service fee, or something that is going to help you to execute your services better. And this extra income is what you're going to use to now maybe pay for another expense that you have, an outstanding debt, or anything that you want to use. You can also use it to further increase your business and to scale your business further. You may now decide to start advertising more. You may need to start going out more to meet more business people, because these are just 5 transactions. So in short, 5 business transactions. You may want to scale it up to 20, see how much you make after doing 20 transactions. So this is an example of a simple budget that I personally use. I drew it myself, and it's just a highlight of what is coming in, what is going out in my daily or monthly activities. So that was the second point: responsibility and discipline. So you need to be responsible, you need to be disciplined with your finances. This just helps you to keep track, and this also helps you to prioritize where you should be spending your money and what you should be doing with your money. So we've talked about 2 points so far. The first one was the definition of money. The second one was responsibility and discipline. Before I deal with the last 2 points, is there any burning question right now? Any burning question that you would like to ask before we get to the last 2 points? Just feel free to just unmute your mic and just speak. Silence. Does it mean there's no question? Does it mean everyone is understanding, or does it mean everyone doesn't have money? They're upset? Does it mean, what does it mean?
We're understanding, but we're broke.
We're understanding, sir, but we are not broke.
Okay, so there are two different responses. Some are understanding, some have money, some are understanding, some don't have money. It's okay. Let's continue. At least you know what money is and you know that you should be responsible. Let's go to the last 2 points. The third one is live within your means. Live within your means. This simply means accept your current situation financially. Accept it. Be honest with yourself. You saw the Excel which I just shared about the incomes and the expenses. For you to be able to do that, you need to accept how much you're making. You need to be sure, and you have to be honest, because entering the wrong figures in there is going to distort your planning. It's going to distort your mood. These are things which happen. You may feel like you make a lot of money, but then when you hear your friends and what they make, you're like, ish, I'm playing. So you have to be honest with yourself, and you just have to accept how much you have at a particular time, or how much you are making, or how much is your capacity for a given time. Once you do that, you begin to plan your life according to how much you are earning or how much you are making. So the first step in living within your means is accepting where your current financial situation. I'll give a good example. You earn, anyway, this will be relatable to Zambians. You earn 5,000 kwacha, and you're looking for a house to rent which is maybe 5,000 or 4,000. I think that's a bit of a stretch, because once you pay your rent, once you pay for your shelter, yes, we said shelter is a very important aspect you need to pay for. Once you pay for your shelter, you're basically left with 1,000. And with 1,000 kwacha, I don't think you'll be able to survive in the whole month. So if you're earning, for example, 5,000, you need to look for a place which is much more affordable, much cheaper. If possible, get a house with your friend who is also earning similar amount, so that you guys can do some cost sharing. This is one way of living within your means. It means planning your life within your current income and financial capacity. You're earning a 5,000 or you're earning a 2,000, and you want to drive a very big engine car. You want to drive a Mark X, like some of your friends around, which would take so much on your fuel, so much on your pocket just for you to move from point A to point B. You want to have the latest phones, you want to have the latest gadgets. If your income is quite low, or if you have not yet made it to a certain extent, just live with what is workable, what is acceptable, what is going to be able to get you from point A to point B. You may have to use public transport. You may have to get a smaller car with a smaller engine that helps you to move quicker and also helps you to save on your fuel expenses. You do not need to have 5 phones if you're not making so much money, or you're not making money from all those phones. You just need one number. Someone calls you, you pick up. You don't need to have 5 phones to be able to buy talk time or internet or data on all those 5. One is enough. As you are building maybe you're building your business, you're building your brand, you're building your career. That is all that you need. You don't need to always go to the fanciest restaurant every weekend. If you can't afford it, just eat what is available at a given time. Go to the restaurant once every 3 months or 6 months. It won't kill you. No one knows. It doesn't show on your face what you ate for lunch. If you had something to eat, live with that. Move on. You have a plan. You're working. You're building. It's okay. That is living within your means. So that means accept your current situation financially and plan accordingly. Plan your life within your current income and financial capacity. This is what is going to help you to avoid debt, avoiding debt for unnecessary items, borrowing to fuel your expensive lifestyle, borrowing just so that you can show off to your friends, borrowing so that you can just spend money on a particular weekend. I think if you live within your means, you plan your life in a way that you know, maybe like we said, 5,000 is coming, or 2,000 is coming. You're going to be able to use your 2,000 or 5,000 until the end of the month. If it doesn't reach the end of the month, then you can begin to look for options of where to borrow from for the purpose of important activities. Not just borrowing because you need to borrow or because you need to attend something that is not giving you any money. So you need to accept your current situation, accept where you are, look at your future goals. Remember, we said money is a tool to get you the future that you want. So the current money that you're earning, if it's 5, if it's 2,000, if it's 1,000, look at it as a tool that you're going to use to get the future that you want. Maybe you're currently running a project, you're currently in business, and the cash flow is irregular, but it's still coming. You don't necessarily have to go and borrow from the bank in order to scale your business, in order for you to increase your business. You may just have to start advertising more, or maybe change your business model. If you have a physical shop, maybe push it to online. Get those renters out of the way and just find a way to advertise online and get the riders to deliver your goods to the people. So you have to live within your means. You need to plan your life in a way that matches your current financial status, your current financial plans or activities. So this will help you to avoid debt for unnecessary items. Debt is unending. We know that our governments are in debt. All the governments in this world are in debt. Who they are owing is a mystery. But they've kept on borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. It's a trap, and it has been designed in that way from the beginning until everyone falls into that trap. So as best as you can, try to avoid unnecessary debt. You may need to borrow, but only for critical items or critical or important things. So that was the third point. Live within your means. Live within your means. That means accept your current financial position and plan your life in a way that matches or aligns with your income and current financial capacity. And last point for today, expand your territory. Expand your territory. So after living within your means, try to find a way to start something that is generating income for you. I showed you that Excel and I told you that I was running a small business. The skill that I used to do that was simply the fact that I could speak Chinese. So I was able to find suppliers of different goods for customers in Zambia who wanted something. So whenever a customer was looking for something, I would tell them, okay, I can help you. I can ask some of my Chinese friends. And I would ask the ones who were here, the Chinese guys who were here, to help me find those items. And when they found them, everything would be so much cheaper and so much easier for them. And basically, I would tell him, if you want me to assist you, you have to pay me something. So they would pay the commission for me to help me find the item for them. I did that for a couple of months, made some money, and used that as well to finance other things. I was trying to do my master's, so I used that. Use some of the money to pay for the school fees. Again, starting a business may not necessarily need you to have a skill. You may just have to sell and buy goods. Maybe clothes, maybe gadgets, maybe cars. Gadgets, we mean phones or electronics or anything that people may need. You begin to sell those things. You source them and you sell them. That is a business that can work for you. Depending on how good you are with sales, you can do that. If you have the skills, you have maybe like you are a good photographer, you're a good graphics designer, you can use that as well to be able to start a business. I once did graphics design for one company. Anyway, I was just learning. So I learned how to make some flyers. I can see Paul here has a flyer on his profile picture. So I was able to make something like that. And I designed a flyer for this company. They were having an event. So I designed a flyer for them. They paid me some money for that. And they told me next time when we have another one, we'll call you. But I knew that the flyer wasn't so good. So they paid me, and I decided to go backstage and keep on working on those skills. Till today, they have never come back. But at least I know that when one guy comes and he needs a flyer or he needs some sort of graphics design, I'll be available. I'll be able to meet his expected needs. So, for you to expand your territory, you need to start a business. The business is simply any activity that generates income for you. This business is strictly profit driven. It's not about passing time. It's not about doing someone a favor. It's simply for you to generate an income. So don't be afraid to charge if you have the skill. Don't be afraid to go out and put your skills to work. Don't be afraid to sell goods. Be bold and be courageous. Be in everyone's face. Let them know you for the business that you are running. If you are selling items, put them on your WhatsApp, put them on your Facebook. Someone is going to see it and they'll be interested. If you are giving out consultancy services, come up with some sort of media advert that is going to capture our attention, because I will not be able to guess and know that who is in this call, who I can see his name. Maybe Ipiana is doing some sort of consultancy. I won't know unless he puts it out there. So the day that I need Ipiana's consultancy, I need to remember, and I'll be reminded by the poster that he had put to that, by the media advert that he had put out there. So those are some of the things that we have to do, gentlemen, just to be able to kickstart our discussion on money matters. We need to, number one, define money. We have done it, which is simply a tool that we're using to get the future that we want. Some of us were saying we are paying attention, but we're broke. You may not necessarily need to have money in your pocket for you to make money. You just need to have some sort of resources. Resources is any quantity that can be measured, that can generate economic value for you. It can be your time, it can be your presence. By your presence, you can be a bodyguard and you get paid. Did you have money in your pocket to be a bodyguard? Nah. But yeah, those are just some of the things. Your resources is anything that you have on you, either new or current, anything present on you that you can use to generate an income for yourself. And society is demanding so much of us as guys. It's demanding us to be providers, it's demanding us to be always readily available and readily liquid to solve people's problems. So you and I need to start looking outside of our formal employments or formal jobs, and we need to start growing out into businesses, because businesses are unlimited environments. We have the possibility to reach out to so many, to generate so much, which we can use to do so many things. Because if you have a job, you work from 8 to 17 hours. Even if you don't do anything between 8 and 17 hours, at the end of the month, you're going to get paid for that job. If you work the hardest from 8 to 17 every day for 1 month, you are still going to get the same amount of money with someone who didn't do the same amount of work. So you find that the job is just a way that just keeps you getting the same amount of money fixed. You go up a bit, go up a bit, go up a bit, go up a bit. But truly, if you want to be financially free, I would encourage all of you to expand your territories beyond just what you are doing at your current workplaces. Begin to invest in some skills. Start providing a service. It could be slow, it could be small, but at least it gets you going and it helps you to generate something in your passive time, and you're able to meet one or two simple needs thereabout. So lastly, we said expand your territory. Start an activity that will generate some passive income for you. And we said one way to do that is by either providing goods, which we said clothes, gadgets, whatever, or providing services, consultancy, anything you can do with your skills, translation. I once did a translation job. I went to one place. You guys, anyway, we're using Kwacha today. I went to make a Chinese video just to introduce myself in Chinese, and I spent less than 30 minutes in that place. I spent less than 30 minutes just making the video, and they posted it, and they gave me 500 kwacha just for that. Just to go and smile and tell them my name is John, I am in Zambia, and I'm happy to celebrate this festival with the Chinese people. And for that, I was just given 500 kwacha. But that is a once-off thing. It's passive. It comes and it just once. It's seasonal, but at least it helps you to move from one point to another. So those are just one ways you can use your skills. You can use your abilities in order to generate an income for yourself. Any question? We've hit the 1 hour mark so far. Any question from our discussion so far on our 4 points? Is anyone going to ask any question? Or I should read some questions in the chat and try to respond to them. Yes, sir, we can hear you. So there's feedback. I can't hear clearly now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now it's better. Thank you.
Yeah, so on your second point, when you were talking about the responsible ways in which we can spend money,
Yes, sir.
you emphasized on us spending our income on shelter, education, and what was the third one? I forgot
Investing.
it. But nevertheless, when can we direct our money to like needs? I mean wants, sorry. Let's say for example, I want new clothes. I'm not very, healthy on clothes. When should I spend my money on that?
Okay, now I heard you. Thank you. That's a good question. So I think I did mention to say that shelter, shelter is one way where we said everything that keeps you secure and that provides security. So we talked about things like accommodation. We talked about things. I said shelter can be accommodation. It can be your security, your food. So clothes also are some sort of. It's not really a want like the irresponsible ways of spending money. You have enough clothes. Maybe you're just replacing or topping up. That is also a responsible way. It doesn't mean now that because you are trying to save money, you should move around with clothes which are torn. It's a responsible way as long as you do it in moderation. So how you're going to replace those clothes, you have to plan for it. Maybe depending on how much extra income you have at the time, you may be able to say, okay, this month I'll buy 2 shirts, next month I'll add 2 trousers. You may not be able to buy everything at once because you may stress yourself. But that just goes to show you that you need to plan for them as well as an expense that you need to spend. I hope that answers.
Or Yeah, I understand, because let me share something. Like, there's this one time, I'm a student, by the way. I was offering some services where I was teaching some other students who were struggling with certain things. Now, when I got the money, it wasn't very enough, but I used everything I had because I didn't have the knowledge where I have to save part of everything that I earned. So I used everything to buy clothes. So I was just trying to, find out when I can use that to get some wants. For example, if I wanted a new jacket, for example, new shoes, when can I put that into consideration when I have money? So that was basically my question.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for that. I think there's another question which popped up, which was asking, let me just read it. How do you handle money in bulk form at once? Are you able to give more clarity, sir, Mr. Coco? Yes, Paul's hand is up. You want to respond or you want to ask another one? You can do both.
I wanted to ask a question, sir.
Yes, sir.
My question is, how do you balance off? Okay, they call it black tax. How do you balance off family issues and extended family issues when it comes to money? I don't remember seeing the part where you mentioned. I'll give an example. If you've got maybe young brothers, how do you balance that? I don't know if the question is clear.
No, it's clear. It's clear. Okay, let me start with the first one about bulk, maybe bulk money at once.
Okay, are you
Mr.
able to
Coco,
get me now?
yes, we can get you.
So my question is, how do you handle money in bulk? Like, for example, maybe you've received the 30,000 today. So how do you plan, like, this 5,000 is for this? How do you plan it?
Okay.
Like, you've never had the 30,000 at once. Then how do you handle it? Do you get my point?
Yes, I get you, sir. I get you. Okay.
Yeah, that's my question.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. So, firstly, depends on where the money is coming from. Maybe you were doing some business and you just got paid. Maybe you're working, or those are the last monies that came. You would have to find priorities. So, what are the immediate needs that have come up after sitting down and coming up with your budget? And as well, guys, don't be afraid to have big projects in your plans, because if a lot of money comes to me, for example, today, if maybe Mr. Paul sent me 1 million kwacha, I've never seen 1 million kwacha. I need to have a plan of where I'm going to take that 1 million kwacha, because if I don't have a plan, that 1 million will finish. So ideally, you have maybe a big project in your mind, which you know that if you ever received a huge amount of money, you would channel it towards that. For example, if Paul sent me 1 million today, I think firstly I would buy a plot and start building. That's just me. So that's my priority. If that 1 million came, I would do that. But then again, back to your question, sir, that, for example, 30,000 which has come in, you may have pressing needs. You may have wanted to start a business. You may have been paying for maybe your school. You may have been paying for your rent. Those are some of the expenses which you need to just write down, and also find ways to discuss. Now that we have a platform, we can talk about those things. Just find a friend and think of what is the priority at that given time for you before you begin to spend the money. So you need to just come up with a rough plan so that you can be able to guide the money in a way that even you will be happy about after some time, because you don't want to spend money on impulse. You always want to have a plan. You need to know where it's going and what it's going to do for you. So maybe it's an investment. You say, okay, out of the 30, I'll invest maybe 10,000, then 20,000 will meet the other needs or other challenges which have come up. Or maybe it's the other way. You may invest 20,000 and use the 10,000 for other needs. Then back to, I hope that gives some clarity. So it's basically a matter of setting your priorities. What's the most important thing you need to do right now? Which, even if you do it, maybe it's some sort of investment. It's not a wasteful expenditure, but it's a way that will just give you some stability at a given time. All right, thank you. Then Mr. Paul, black tax, it's real. It affects most of us here. We are mostly from Africa. So you find that your first salary, maybe your parents want it. Your first big bonus, your siblings want that money, and it affects all of us. There's no one size fits all, but one way that we can do it is also by, as usual, those are people who we are close with. We can speak to them and tell them, okay, I can't afford to pay everything for you. Maybe it's school fees for your young brother or school fees for your cousin. You may just have to tell your aunties and uncles to say, I can help out with maybe 50% at this time, and the other 50%, we all come in together. Because once they start lumping black tax on you, it doesn't end. It doesn't end. I'm not saying don't help, but I'm saying have a way that you can also prioritize your needs at a given time. So you may have to just come together as siblings or as family to try and meet a given need at a particular time. If you are the breadwinner, you may have to work extra hard in order to help your other people around you. But that shouldn't affect your own personal goals or priorities. You should give those priority and also begin to help others with the extra which you are making. I hope that answers, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks. I think we've answered the questions which came. The only other question I saw in the chat was about saving and emergency. I think the person asked, what's the difference between savings and emergency? So savings, like we said in the beginning, the wise man saves for the future. The foolish man spends everything he has. And I said, a little every day becomes 1,000 on a rainy day. So if you save, you have savings, you have maybe 1,000 kwacha as savings, and an emergency comes, you may have to dip into your savings. The emergency may be smaller than your savings. It may also be bigger than your savings, but your savings will just help you to cushion that emergency. There's no emergency which will come and that's the last emergency ever in your life. You may be hit with maybe, let's give an example of an emergency. You have 5,000 kwacha and you'll get sick and you go to the hospital and you're told the bill is 4,000 kwacha. You use 4,000, you're left with 1,000. Another emergency comes, it's a family event and they needed 2,000. Emergencies don't have a limit. They can keep on coming and they do not stop. So your savings are basically going to help you to cushion yourself when an emergency comes or when an emergency hits. So that's one way of just looking at savings and emergency. Savings are good. They help you to plan for the future. They help you to use your money for investments. And then also the emergency can be cleared off with your savings, or the emergency can be cushioned with your savings. So that's that, gentlemen. I think for today we are done. We are planning another session where we are going to invite someone who is doing business full time, and he's going to be able to speak to us He's going to be able to share with us how he started. He's going to share with us his challenges, his opportunities, how he took advantage, how he was able to increase his capacity, and what he's doing right now. So just stay tuned in that group. Feel free to share it with others. It's just going to be a space where we'll just be showing you some updates, and we'll share the date of the next meeting as well in that group. So that meeting, definitely we're trying to get a businessman, and he's going to come and share with us how he started, his opportunities, his challenges, what are some of the things that have made him stand till today, because we did notice that it was one of the most prominent questions that were coming in, or topics, because most of us wanted to learn about business. So I just came to give the foundation on these money matter issues, and feel free in that group to add one another. Feel free as well to just keep it, because more information will be coming. It's just going to help you to better plan your lives financially, and better plan your lives in different areas as well. Apart from finances, there will be other things which will be shared. So guys, thank you so much for your time. It's getting late now. We have to go and rest and prepare for our Fridays and weekends. So thank you so much. Have a great evening and see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.